There he is. Let's just take a moment and watch. So there he is, Donald Trump, the first former president ever to have to come anywhere to face a day in court. I think what was notable right there, and we're going to probably see him several more times before he gives his speech tomorrow night, but we were actually talking before whether we would see the fist bump, whether we would see the thumbs up, and we didn't see any of that. And Sarah, forgive me, Sarah, I just want to go to you on that because you've spent many, many hours, thousands of hours covering him since 2015. What does that tell you, that body language?
I mean, I think it was much more resigned than what we expect to see. Again, he has a lot of opportunities to appear defiant later today, tomorrow, when he makes, remarks tomorrow evening at Mar-a-Lago. But, it is sort of a pretty resigned march down the stairs into his car. No Trump hat. We're used to seeing sort of his campaign swag as well as the swagger, and that's not what we're seeing right now.
And I started to say about the fact that as we were preparing for this moment, just as many other people have been doing, maybe most people aren't as nerdy as I am, but going back and looking at not just the Constitution, but the way people have interpreted the Constitution when it comes to legal jeopardy for a president. And correct me if I'm wrong, but when a person is in the White House, is president, the Justice Department interprets this, and most people interpret this as somebody who is immune from typical criminal prosecution. But that the founders explicitly wanted a former president to be treated like a regular citizen.
And moreover, the founders in crafting the Constitution put very few rules or restrictions on who can be president. You just got to be 35 years old, and you have to be a natural-born citizen of the United States.
Doesn't have to be a he.
Pardon me. Thank you for correcting me on that. He or she needs to be 35 years old and a natural-born citizen of the United States. There's nothing in the Constitution about someone who's been charged with a crime or someone who has been convicted of a crime being barred from serving or running for president of the United States. Now, if you remember former President Trump, and viewers should remember that former President Trump was impeached twice, and the United States Senate could have, in that process, barred him from running for future office. Mm-hmm. Now, they voted against that and did not do so. That would have been the way to prevent someone from running for office or from running for the presidency again. But you're right, there's very few limitations or restrictions on who gets to be president. And he's a candidate now. He'll be a candidate tomorrow after he's indicted, and will be a candidate presumably throughout the rest of the
And to underscore your point, it was always a courtesy, the post-term prosecutorial immunity. Right. It's not baked anywhere that says you're free from any kind of scrutiny. And I think it's really saying something that this former president reached this point where that courtesy, in a sense, has been rescinded by the legal community.
There's one other thing that struck me just watching him go down the steps is thinking back to the escalator he went down with Melania. And the family was not there. Melania was not there. He looked like such a solitary, somber figure there, which we're not used to.
Right. In a way, that's what the press conference is for, right?
That's
they're
right.
planning to have
But
tomorrow.
I think he understood that moment very well because it needed to be somber.
I've been in court a bunch over the years, and it's just so serious and solemn. And the public, on account of some of these questions about cameras in the courtrooms and so on, most of the public don't really have a sense as to what happens in a courtroom or how courts play or how. When someone is led into a court and has to look the judge in the eye and say, sir or ma'am, I believe I am not guilty of this offense, and in a year you're going to bring me to trial in front of 12 randomly picked citizens of this jurisdiction and in judgment of them, it is a serious, somber, solemn moment. You feel it in your bones. It's very serious, and we saw, and perhaps saw some of that there today.
Yeah, there's no question about that. We have a lot more to watch, a lot more to weigh in on. Right now, you are looking at former President Trump and his motorcade on their way to Trump Tower. The former president obviously is in New York, landed at LaGuardia Airport in order to face the new reality for a former president that has been indicted and will have to face criminal charges. We have a lot more as we continue to watch this play out.